Good evening and welcome to Black Star Still Rising, sponsored by the Black Star Project, and in dedication to the founder of the Black Star Project, Philip Jackson, who is still with us and who is embodied now by the Executive Director, Gloria Smith. We welcome you in the name of Philip Jackson and all that the Black Star Project incorporates. Very fortunate today. This is a guest that I've been trying to get wanted to get on for quite a while. He's here with us tonight. It's interesting. For the last few weeks, we've had members of the Divine Nine Males. This week, we have a good Omega brother, Q Sci-Fi, to the bone, made down in Champaign, Illinois, but is here in Chicago. And I'm going to introduce to you, after I make a couple of quick announcements. And later on, Bernard, we're going to want you to give information to the audience. I want you to get your pencil and papers out and take notes. You folks at the Atlas Center on Krieger and 79th Street, you folks at the Crocs, the other resource centers in Chicago, please take notes because this is going to be important for you in finding out some very valuable information. I want to holler out to our people at, I said the Atlas, but we're here today with Mr. Bernard Turner, the Executive Director of, let me get the name correct today, I better not mess it up today. That is Bronzeville Black Metropolis NHA. So you're going to have some explaining to do to talk about this today, Bernard. All right?
No problem.
Bernard, come on, take over and tell us a little bit, first of all, about the Bronzeville Black Metropolis.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Bernard Turner, as he's mentioned. I'm the Executive Director of the Bronzeville Black Metropolis National Heritage Area. And this is a fairly new designation. At the beginning of 2023, Bronzeville was designated as one of the new National Heritage Areas. Mm-hmm. There have been a total of 55 National Heritage Areas.
Is that in the country or?
In the whole country.
And Bronzeville is one of the 55 in the whole country?
Well, Bronzeville is one of the 62.
62, okay.
So at the end of 2022, Congress passed a bill called the National Heritage Act.
That's NHA, okay.
They actually reauthorized 55 National Heritage Areas, meaning they were funded for the next 15 years, and they designated 7 new ones, and we're one of the 7 new ones. So we just started last year.
That's a monumental designation nationally. Tell us a little bit about what this means for Chicago, and tell us about the boundaries of Bronzeville, because I get confused. I think I lived at 62nd and South Park growing up. South Park before King Drive. Mm-hmm. And I considered that Bronzeville. Is that considered Bronzeville? What are the boundaries?
South Park, 62nd. I think that's a little south.
I ain't going to let you say it. I ain't going to let you
It's a little south of
No, you can't let me have it.
Official Bronzeville, anyway.
Okay.
So anyway, the National Heritage Area is focused on the history and culture of Bronzeville. And each one of the National Heritage Areas tells a specific American story. So our story is the Great Migration. And when you think of Bronzeville, you think of Chicago, you think about how the neighborhood was formed with people who came here during the Great Migration, during the years 1916 to 1970. Over 6 million people migrated to cities like Chicago, Detroit, New York, Philadelphia, and so forth.
Including my parents and grandparents.
Yeah,
they came here in 1916, yeah.
And they migrated to Chicago. Many people came for the jobs. Mm-hmm. They came for a better life.
Yes.
They came to get away from the Jim Crow things that were going on there, lynching.
Yes. That's a good thing to get rid of.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
And they came here to get jobs. Uh-huh. And over 600,000 people came just to Chicago. in the period between 1916 and 1970.
Very specific. My grandfather came here, worked in the stockyards. They came here because of jobs. They came here, they heard about the golden streets almost that the Defender used to talk about.
The promised land.
The promised land. Promise for many
Right.
and those who take advantage. But keep on, tell us a little bit about tell us about the boundaries and what communities that are officially part of Brownsville.
Well, officially, as everyone knows, Chicago has 77 community areas.
Right.
And Bronzeville is actually Douglas Grand Boulevard.
Okay.
So that's the real name of the community area. But it encompasses an area between 18th Street and 71st Street,
18 to 17, okay.
and the
East and
lakefront
west, okay.
over to what we call the Dan Ryan,
Okay.
over to the trains. But that's the boundaries of the National Heritage Area. The boundaries of Bronzeville are a little bit smaller than that.
Okay.
But we want to incorporate all of the assets, community assets, sponsors, people like that.
I want you
in
to
the
talk
national
about the assets.
narrative.
That's important because our audience needs to know they might be an asset. Their institution, their family might be an asset. One of the assets I saw was a photograph that you took of that famous sculpture. It was at 22nd and King Drive.
26th and King
Oh,
Drive.
is that a
It's
picture?
actually the cover of my book.
Oh, you wrote a book.
Yes, this is a new view of Bronzeville,
Okay.
and it has on the cover the statue. It's
That's a beautiful
called the
sculpture.
Monument to the Great Northern Migration.
Okay.
So that's at 26th in Michigan,
At 26th in Michigan?
26th and King Drive.
Oh,
I'm
King
sorry.
Drive. Okay, very good. And the monument that goes back centuries almost, at least decades, is the one at 35th and King Drive.
Yes.
And that's the soldier monument.
Yep.
dedicated to the, okay.
That's the Victory Monument, and it's dedicated to the soldiers who were part of the 370th Regiment, who were sent to France to fight in World War I. And they were initially not going to be sent there. They didn't think that they were brave enough or had the training or the skills. But they were immediately, when they did go to France, they gave them to the French army. The French army trained them, gave them uniforms, helped them to learn how to use the weapons, and they were very, very instrumental in helping to liberate France from the German occupation.
They saw their value, and
Yes.
they were awarded many medals.
Yes, they
And
received.
really, they were incorporated into the culture in France.
Yes, they were awarded several Croix de Guerre, which is the French Medal
Oh, wow.
and Distinguished Service awards from the United States Army. So that's the reason for that monument at 35th and King Drive.
Tell us about the new monument. The new monument I would consider would be the Ida B. Wells monument.
Oh.
Tell us about that. Tell our audience. Many of us don't know, have not been by there since it's been dedicated. Tell us about where that is and how that came about.
Well, actually, over a period of about 10 years, the people in the community who used to live in the Ida B. Wells homes,
Yes.
the projects, they wanted to have something to remember the homes that they lived in for many, many years. A lot of families lived in those homes, and they were torn down in 1995.
Okay.
So that area, which was Ida B. Wells, Madden Park,
Oh, yeah.
and Clarence Darrow homes, 462 units, all of that is torn down, and it's been replaced by,
Mariano's for one.
well, Mariano's, yes, but mixed-use
Southern
housing.
Yes.
Yes.
Some beautiful homes.
Yeah,
Yes.
very nice. And they built a monument at 37th and Langley,
Okay.
and the monument is dedicated to Ida B. Wells.
And you got to find your way around there. It's a little bit difficult to find it because there's zigzags and there's some dead ends.
A little bit,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But it's a monument that was designed by Richard Hunt. Richard Hunt is a renowned sculptor who just passed away.
Just passed away in
a
the last
few-
couple of months. Yes.
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 And it's called The Light of Truth. It's a beautiful monument. It's a wonderful tribute to Ida B. Wells, who lived right in that neighborhood and did a lot of work for women's suffrage and helping the migrants who came to Chicago.
Interesting. You said she lived in the neighborhood. All of us lived in the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
We had some boundaries. You put it down there. 17th Street, when they got off the train at 11th Street Station, 12th Street Station, we didn't go any further than 71st Street. If we went that far, I think it was 67th Street. Actually,
Probably
back
not
then.
even that far.
Yeah, right.
But that was because of restrictive covenants.
Restricted covenants, yes.
And those restrictive covenants were these unwritten laws that told people who own property in other neighborhoods, do not sell your property to black
You
people.
could not sell to us.
Do not rent your property to black people. And they were eventually declared unconstitutional in 1948.
And we had some heroes that fought for that out of that neighborhood. And
Absolutely.
Folks at Supreme Life.
Yeah, actually, Earl B. Dickerson, who was
yes.
the general counsel of Supreme Life, which is the insurance company that was located at 35th and King Drive,
Where?
he actually took that case, or the case of the Carl Hansberry, Lorraine Hansberry's father, to the Supreme Court in 1941.
And that's partly of where the Black Star offices are in
Absolutely,
that
it
complex. A
certainly
lot
is.
of history there.
3509.
How'd you happen to come to be with the organization?
Working with the Freedom School. I guess they don't call it a Freedom School. They call it Freedom School now, but they used to call it a Saturday University.
Okay.
And I actually taught a couple of semesters in their library. So I was the library teacher and got to know all of the staff. And I have known Gloria Smith for years. So that's how I got involved.
Okay, now get a little bit more into the mission of the Black
National
Yeah,
Heritage.
right. Please, a little bit more about
Yeah,
the
the
mission.
National Heritage Area, as I mentioned, we're focused on telling the story of the Great Migration. So we have to do that through interpretation, which means how do we let people know what the Great Migration was and what was the significance of it. We have to be able to do some economic development in the community. So economic
I'm gonna put a pin in
development.
there. I want you to come back to that. Go ahead, please.
Well, economic development, to be able to find funds to match the funds that we were going to be receiving from the National Park Service, which National Parks govern the National Heritage Areas, or we work with them. So we will be receiving funds, but we have to generate funds by getting grants, getting sponsors.
Tell our audience how they can be involved to do that.
You can be involved, obviously, by making a donation.
Tell
But
us
you
where.
can go to our website, www.blackmetropolis.org,
Yes.
O-R-G, and there's a contact area there. You can write to us, tell us who you are,
I
and
just subscribed.
express your interest
Aren't you
in
proud of
being
me?
involved with the National Heritage Area. And I would just really like people to know this is a real asset for the city of Chicago.
Yes.
To think about having a National Heritage Area. There are very few National Heritage Areas that are in urban communities. Most of them are in the
Rural
country,
Okay.
out in the country and so forth. So it's a real asset for the city in terms of tourism dollars.
Oh, talk about
Everybody
the tourism.
likes that.
We've got, I should say that we got Alphas coming to Chicago in
Right.
July for their big convention, and we have the Democratic National Convention coming
Right.
to Chicago in August.
Right.
We've got to make them aware that you and your organization are a resource for that.
Absolutely. We're a resource because we provide tours. So if the Alphas would like to arrange a tour, we can help out with that.
I'll sign up with you.
That would
and
be
I'll
great.
talk to some of the brothers.
That would
This
be
is some
great.
of the things you worked and collaborated with the late Harold Lucas, too.
Yes.
In making Bronzeville known and making it known to tourists and making them, all the leaders, to have a reason to come down to Bronzeville.
Right.
And tell about some of the other assets in Bronzeville that you want our public here to know about.
Well, other assets include our working with the universities like Illinois Tech, Illinois Institute of Technology. We also work with Northeastern Illinois University.
That's where we met the other day for
And
the parent university.
Parent
We'll talk about that a little bit,
University.
too. Yeah.
We collaborate with other community organizations such as the Bronzeville Historical Society. We work with the Bronzeville Trail.
Okay.
I don't know if people are aware of
Oh,
that.
no, don't say
Yeah.
that, because we've made folks on the show aware of that. We've
That's
had
great.
Brother Adams, John Adams, our Capra brother.
That's great.
He had a couple of times here. We're going to have him back, too, to talk
Great.
about the trail. But go ahead, please.
So we work with the Bronzeville Trail, and I'm actually on the board of the Bronzeville Trail. And we work with the Camp Douglas Restoration Foundation. A lot of people may or may not know that there was a Union camp, a American Army Union camp that's located where the old Griffin Funeral Home used
Wasn't
to be
there
located.
also a prison camp for Confederate prisoners?
Yes, well,
Along the tracks?
it was.
Okay.
It was originally an Army recruitment and training camp,
Okay.
but after some battles were won in the South, they brought Confederate prisoners of war to Chicago.
Just dropped them off the train.
Well,
Did
I
see-
wouldn't say they
no,
dropped
I'm
them
just saying- you want to go?
No, they didn't want them to escape,
right.
so they put them in a prisoner of war camp.
Right,
and-
but the trains came right in there where the IC
Pretty
track
close,
that
pretty
we,
close.
yeah, okay.
Yes, so that's another asset. What else? There?
Oh, I want you to tell me, I hope it's not politically hot to say this. What about the Michael Reese area? Because there's been talk, it's been talking years about Michael Reese, that whole acreage
Yeah.
being used for something positive for the community. But the latest talk is about Friends of the Park, and I won't say anything about Friends of the Park. That's another hot thing for me. But anyway, they want it to be something other than what maybe the Bears, and I would like it moved down to the old stadium near that area, but they recommended that it be in the old Michael Reese area. What's your thoughts about the use of the old Michael Reese acreage?
Well, I mean, as far as we're concerned, we would like to see some economic development.
Okay, and that would include what?
That area is going to be redeveloped into what is called Bronzeville Lakefront.
Okay.
Bronzeville Lakefront is a research community. It is also have medical research. It will have housing. It will have retail, and I hear that it might even have a train station for the Metro.
Okay, I
It
can see it
stops right
stopping.
there at 31st Street.
Okay.
So that's part of the development that's going to be taking place in that area.
What does it take to make that happen, and how is your organization going to be a factor in impacting that? I know you're working on that, but give us a look at it.
Well, personally, I'm really kind of focused on the history, the culture, the tourism, education. I leave the development to other people to work on.
Can
so
I
that
ask-
would be
excuse me, I'm sorry.
commercial development. Our people that are working on that.
Let me give you an opportunity. I want you to tell us a little bit about the books that you have here,
Mhm.
some that you wrote, some that you have contributed to. Please give our audience an idea, and don't be afraid to show it up in front of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as I showed earlier, I originally wrote a book called A View of Bronzeville in 2002, and this is a revision, a new view of
You
Bronzeville.
did it in 2002.
Originally
Okay.
2002.
Okay.
This is a revision called A New View of Bronzeville, a very creative name, I
Well, let
must
me
say.
stop you. What has changed within that view that you think are significant between 202 and now?
A lot of buildings have been renovated. A lot of places have been closed. For example, Gladys's Restaurant,
Oh, I
Jerry's
cried.
Palm
I
Tavern,
cried on that
you know,
one
all
too,
of those
yeah,
kinds
right.
of places have changed. there's a lot of new murals in the community. So when you drive around Bronzeville, you'll see a vibrant art community, and you will also see the Walk of Fame.
Where are some of these places at? Tell our audience where these
Well,
places are.
the murals are on King Drive, which used to be called South Parkway,
Grand Boulevard before that.
and Grand Boulevard. There are also murals that are on 43rd Street.
Okay.
There are murals that are on Michigan Avenue, just south of Pershing Road. So there's a lot of art, street art, that's in the area that tells you that this is, really historically and culturally significant.
I got to ask you
community.
about one of my favorite places that seems like it's a shame. The building right behind Persian School, that was used to be offices and medical practices. Do you have any sense of what is happening with that building? Because you can see that it's ready to be developed and open, but nothing's
Yeah, I don't
happening.
know what's going on with
Okay,
that building,
okay.
but I know that it's a famous building by a famous architect, I believe Mies van der Rohe.
It has that kind of
yeah,
look.
the same
That-
look.
Yeah.
So the other
Tell me about
books,
the other
this
two,
one
please.
is the Tate and His Historic Dream, which is a children's story, and it tells you all about African American history, figures in African American history. I wrote this with Michelle Duster, who is
That's Ida B.
Ida B. Wells' great-granddaughter.
Okay.
And then I'm also a contributor to Black History 365. And Black History 365 is a curriculum for teaching Black history for the grades K to 12.
K to 12. Okay.
Think about that. Children need to learn their history. They need to be aware of history that began way before the Mayflower, that began in Africa. So that's the story that is told in Black History 365.
I want to go back. I told you to pin this, but you and I were at the event this past Saturday at Northeastern University, and where it's called Parents University. You were involved in teaching courses there. I think you should let our viewing audiences know, and Gloria would be happy to talk about that and what you did, what others did, and the importance of learning at every level,
Absolutely.
intergenerational. Please go expand
Really,
upon that.
I believe that what the Black Star Project is doing is helping people to become, especially young people, to become lifelong learners.
Lifelong learners.
You know-
What did Philip say?
I don't know, what did you say?
Okay,
You have a quote,
learn or die.
learn or die.
Learn
right?
or die. Or was it educate or die?
Educate or die.
Yeah, educate or die.
Yes,
you better
but-
know that. I better learn it too. She's gonna take me off the program.
But think about how important it is for kids to be lifelong learners and want to learn. And that's what the Saturday school does. That's what the Parent University helps the parents to do that with their children. So yeah, I'm just very, very excited about being
that
involved
concept of being a lifelong learner, and that parents should maintain a learning atmosphere, and that's what the Parent University stands for. What I
Exactly.
saw.
Yeah.
What did you teach specifically there?
I was just talking about Black history and the importance of learning history, especially in our political climate in the United States, where people don't want you to learn your history. You know, this is a curriculum that's used all over the country, including in Texas and including in Florida. So people are hungry for this kind of information.
Give our audience a little. Tell them again how they can get involved, whether it's volunteer or whatever, and how to be in contact with you.
Well, you
What's
can
the best way to be in contact?
be
with
very easy to get in touch with us by going to our website,
you? Write it down. Write it down, folks.
www.blackmetropolis.org, and you can sign up, you can become a volunteer, you can donate, You can help us to find sponsors
Get
to
some
do
money and donate
what
some
we're doing.
guts.
I mean, that would be nice. But you can also volunteer your time.
Okay.
Maybe at an event where we have a table, you can sit there and give out information,
I saw
things
some
like
people that
that.
wanted to. They didn't know they should have been sitting at the table with you, helping you out the other day.
That would have been a wonderful thing. So yes, you can get in touch with us. We are also going to be in the community this Sunday. We'll be at Illinois Tech
IIT.
at
Right.
the One Earth Film Festival.
Okay. Is that
on
Earth Day? Is
Earth
that coming?
Day. It's an
Okay,
Earth
yes.
Day event on Sunday, the 21st, and we'll be there at 12:30. There will be showing a film. There'll be some goodies from the Bronzeville Winery given out, and
Oh, wait a minute.
lots
Tell me
of
something about this
information.
winery.
Well,
We
I
took-
mean, you got to come. You got to come to this event.
Okay.
We're also having a fundraiser June 2nd at
June
Raven
2nd.
Theater
And
on
what
the north
theater?
side.
North side, okay.
Raven Theater, and we are also sponsoring the Ida B. Wells Festival, which is coming up June 29th.
June 29th.
Our third
Better write that down,
Ida
folks.
B. Wells Festival.
Third.
Yeah.
Do they still have the Lake Meadows Art Festival? Do we lose that? Can we
Yeah, I
get
don't
that
think it's
back?
there anymore.
Uh-huh.
I
That was
don't
a
think
great
it was fun.
Great
It was
event.
a nice event.
Maybe
Yes.
we can talk to some people and then contact.
We can redo it. Yes, that would be
I think we
great.
should. That means some of the artists that we are talking to now. Please get in contact either with me, blackbutterfly1940@gmail.com, and you can call me, leave a message, 312-662-3106 for the Black Butterfly for Silver. So glad, Bernard, that we had you here today and look to having you in the future. Hold up your books again so folks can see.
Oh, that'll be great.
While we wrap up this program, glad to
Black
have you.
History 365, which also has a songbook, by the way.
Can you sing anything out of it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Not today.
Not today, anyway.
These are the activity books for the elementary grades and high school that I wrote. And my Chicago books, this is the Bronzeville book and the Tate book, and they're available on Amazon.com.
Folks, we've got resources here. Now's the time for you to get involved. These elders out here, the octogenarians and septuagenarians like me, are
And
out
me.
there. You too. Okay, you got to be involved. It's time to be active. We are not old. We're older. We are not elderly. We are the elders. Thank you, Brother Elder, for being with us today.
Thank you.
And this is a wrap, I think. Now, don't say anything out of the way because we still...